Trump breaks new ground by being the first president to speak at a Bitcoin conference. Democrats are having their hashtag Me Too moment as well as they try to figure out how to get on the crypto bandwagon. RFK Jr. has laid out a Bitcoin maxis dream. Senator Lummis is introducing a bill to bring 1 million Bitcoin into the U.S. federal holdings. And Travis was at Bitcoin 2024 to see it all. Along with how the world's reacting, we've got some news from the NFT world as well. Giddy up, little dogies. We're back in the saddle for this bad news, episode number 736 of the Bad Crypto Podcast.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition.
Who's bad?
Hello, friends. After a week off, this is Sir Lord Joel and Sir Lord Travis back with you almost live. We're recording it live, but you're listening to it, and it's not live. It's recorded for this episode of the Bad Crypto Podcast. Welcome. How you doing, Sir Lord Travis? Welcome back from the conference in Nashville, sir.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, it was a prolific conference, man. Probably one of the biggest ones that I've seen. I mean, just the big Nakamoto ballroom itself held over 22,000 people. So I don't even know how many people were at this event.
Wow.
I know, all I do know is was that the lines were stupid. And you had all these metal detectors everywhere because you had politicians that was coming up to speak. And so it was unlike any conference ever. In fact, it was kind of annoying because normally you can just go into a wing, you walk in and out, and you walk into a big conference room and you find a seat. Nope. You had to walk. So people weren't leaving and they were sitting and it just took forever.
Well, I'm glad you got to go. I was on vacation. I was overseas, got to experience Scandinavia for the first time. There's all this talk about Norway and Sweden and Denmark all being, people like to put them up as socialist countries. They're not. They're capitalist countries with high tax rates and a big social safety net. So the government does handle things like education and healthcare, but people work for a living and build businesses. And they are notorious for being amongst the happiest countries to live in, according to the indexes that they put together. And I got to tell you, if you've not been, the vibe there really is very chill. It's an interesting place to visit. Really enjoyed it. I think Norway was my favorite and would totally go back again.
Maybe next time you go I go in the fall, winter time, and then you have a great chance to see the Aurora Borealis, the Northern Lights. That's one thing.
Northern Lights.
It's on my list because I went to Iceland. I've gone to Iceland twice in hopes of seeing the Northern Lights. And, in Iceland, it rains or snows precipitation like 300 days out of the year. And then even the days that it doesn't, I think those are full days a year, but sometimes you're like, oh my God, this is a horrible day already. Oh, here's like a 30 minutes of beautiful, beautiful sun. So we got that whenever my daughter and I went to Iceland, but it's in the summertime, so you're not going to see any Northern Lights. And I was there in the wintertime twice to see Northern Lights, and I saw some, weak stream. It was like Northern Borealis it had prostate issues and had a weak his stream, and it was about maybe 2.5, 3 out of 10. So it was like, it's a little bit of green.
Yeah, you got to go north. You got to go in the winter, and it's cold as balls. And so I don't know that I want to do that or not because I really don't like the cold. We had perfect weather all but one day. It was beautiful. It rained one day. Anyway,
there's some places in Norway that have these big glass houses that are out in the forest, specifically to see the Northern Lights. That's the bucket list thing for me. Now, how were the fjords? Did you see some fjords in Norway?
The fjords were amazing. It was great. We did one of those, what do they call them? Ribs, rubber inflatable boats where they seat you on it and they go 55 miles per hour. You're just going across the water through the fjord so quick. Saw a couple eagles flying, saw a baby seal just hanging out there.
Did you club it real quick?
I did not club
It's
it.
your chance, bro. How often do you get to see a baby seal and you didn't club it?
I didn't bring the club. I wasn't invited to the club. So anyway, lots going on in our personal lives, but also in the crypto world. So let's get to the news right now.
By the way, happy beginning of the 8th year. Here we are.
Oh, this is right. This is the beginning of the 8th season year of the Bad Crypto Podcast.
Yeah.
Should we keep going?
Yeah,
let's keep doing it. Okay, timestamp. It is July 30th, 2024, 2:17 p.m. Atlantic, also Eastern Standard Time. The total crypto market cap, 2.48 trillion. Bitcoin, 65,984, been down since the Bitcoin conference. Ethereum, just under 3,300. BNB, 572. Solana, 177, XRP 62 cents, Dogecoin 12.5 cents, and Toncoin at 670. Who are the big winners this week, Trav?
Yeah, it's a big one. The Book of Meme, BOME. Bitcoin Cash is up on a tear a little bit. Also, Bitcoin SV, Satoshi's Vision, that's up 17%. Flow up 14%, still nothing. I mean, really, it's only 68 cents. Nothing to get too super excited about. You can check all those out at CoinGecko. Now, I want to preface that big 70,000 number there, Joel. That is such a wall. If you start looking at the buy and sell orders, that is like the Great Wall of China. And it's hard to break through that. I mean, so it's like it just keeps going up and testing it. Even after Trump's speech, it went back up and tested it again. Oh, went up. Get there. It's hard to break through it. Once we break through that wall and we get through all those sell orders, because it's almost impenetrable at that point. Especially 69,420. And we did break through that one, and then it hit another wall right up a little bit below, and then it went down again. So last I saw it was a 69.5 or something just a couple days ago. So once we break through that big wall, folks, that the next big wall is going to be like right before 100,000.
Hold on. It's coming. The fear and greed index today, we are sitting at 67. Greed yesterday was 74. So a few days ago, it was probably in the 80s or so. I think
like bullshit to me, though. It's not, we're like, we should really be in the orange, because it's like, we're ready for it to go big. We're not even greedy yet. We're still hesitant that it could falter.
I think, well, we might see more liquidations. That's fine, because it's all, it's ahead of schedule still for the major bull run to happen. And let's face it, there was a lot of talk about what Trump would say, and I think that it was built into the price. In fact, this story right here.
Oh, literally, yeah, you're exactly right. Once people knew that RFK and Trump were speaking, the price started doing its thing, going up. Right. And then when he spoke, it was like 69,000 something. And then it started to go back down. And then the next day it went back up. And then now it's at 65 something.
Yeah. But he set the stage. He set the stage. And, look, I don't think that he really understands it. I think it's clear that he doesn't really understand it, but he understands that this is a legitimate currency. And his sons are probably talking to him. He's probably got advisors talking to him. And he said some key things. One, that he is going to fire Gary Gensler on day one, that he wants to send Bitcoin to the moon, that the country would put their current Bitcoin stockpile into reserves, and that he would free Ross, that he would pardon Ross Ulbricht on day one. And that was enough, I think, for that, people needed to hear, because RFK went beyond that. We'll actually talk about his speech here in a minute as well. But Trump just needed to come out and say, hey, I'm with you guys. And we're going to do this. And I think
I was a little offended when he called it, you Bitcoiner people. Like, what does that mean? What do you mean you guys?
Yeah, I don't think I just don't think he totally gets it. He will. I think he'll be brought up to speed. And as he does, I think it could only be a good thing. But what did he say? Bitcoin and crypto and these other things that you guys are playing with.
Right. Well, I think that, historically he's been against it, right? He's like the dollar to the dollar. And then now he starts going, wait a second, we should almost start backing the dollar with Bitcoin. And with some of the conversations that was going on there, especially like what RFK Jr. was saying with, buying 550 Bitcoin a day and getting a strategic reserve of 4 million Bitcoin, and then having the value of Bitcoin be tied, the value of the dollar tied to Bitcoin. Like it's almost like reconnecting it, but to Bitcoin instead of to gold. And they're saying if that's the case, then the price of the Bitcoin market would shoot up to multiple tens of trillions of dollars in value.
Mhm.
And if that's the case, we see another 10, 20x in Bitcoin over the next few years, which gets us to that $1.5 million per Bitcoin. All it's got to do is around 20x to get there.
Did you listen to Michael Saylor's talk at the conference?
I have not listened to his. No. So,
I mean,
as I said, the conference was hard to get in. And then some of the events you had to be VIP to even get into some of those. And
okay.
and since I
Well,
was bad crypto media, they wouldn't even let me in some of them.
they wouldn't let you in because you were media or because you were bad crypto?
Because they media, because they like, oh, this is strictly no media in this one. So they were saying shit in those rooms that they didn't want anybody to report on.
Well, go back and watch Sailor's talk. In fact, I encourage everybody to. In fact, producer Lisa, let's find a link to it and put it in the show
All
notes.
three of them, the RFK one, the Trump one, and the Sailor one. Those are the three you probably
let's embed those into the show notes, which you guys can see at badco.in/736. It'll have links to the videos as well as all of the stories that we're covering in this show. I think Saylor's talk was the most salient because he understands the most and has got his money where his mouth is. If I was a presidential advisor and he didn't call and ask me, Joel, I need your advice, what I would have done from that stage is I would have had them take my phone, project it on the screen, and he would have bought $10 million in Bitcoin right there on stage, his own personal supply. That's what he should have done. He should have bought Bitcoin right in front of everybody's eyes, and that place would have gone crazy. You want to talk about bullish. Plus, it's a good investment for him.
That really would have been an interesting sort of a take right there. He would have, yeah. But there's also the security measure of that. Like I probably was a little scared. I don't even know. What if it doesn't go through? But it's like if he verifies, I'm buying $10 million worth of Bitcoin right now, and then showed on the screen the confirmation had it had already been done. Like before I came on stage today, I bought $10 million worth of Bitcoin.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
That would have been spectacular.
Nobody asked me, nobody, I don't know who he's got advising him, but President Trump,
we need to get Joel Comm on in his cabinet. So
happy to help with this. I don't want to get stuck in the cabinet though, because then I'm with all the food if I'm in the cabinet.
I mean, I love pantries.
I'll just eat my way out. Okay, back to stories and news and other things here. So according to this report, governments around the world are holding around $33 billion in Bitcoin, which is 2.6 of all Bitcoin's supply. The U.S. government holds 213,297. El Salvador is purchasing 1 Bitcoin daily. You've got other governments, and China's got 190,000 Bitcoin. I think the thing is, right now you've got the U.S. Trump saying he's going to make it a reserve currency. And now actually got a story right here about the Democrats. And let me see if I can find that. Actually, I can't find it right now, but the Democrats are trying to figure out how do we, get in on this game too. I call it their Bitcoin Me Too moment. They've been harshly anti-crypto. Senator Warren, leading the charge there. And now they're going, maybe there's a market here that, they're doing what they typically do. They're finding who can I pander to now and not actually be sincere about it. But I think it would be a good thing if they came out with a statement, because if they did, Travis, if the Democrat Party, hopefully they never win, ever again, but if they come out with a statement saying that we too are going to make Bitcoin a reserve asset, now the rest of the world knows no matter who wins, the United States intends to lead the way in this. And I think that would drive other nations of the world to begin acquiring immediately. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah. So yeah, there has been a huge, internal divide, and they've been very against it. And so there was a document that came out recently that said, "Hey, Democrat crypto supporters are calling for a crypto-friendly party platform."
Mhm.
So they're going to come out, as you said, the Me Too. And what's interesting is you mentioned the United States has roughly 213,000 Bitcoin. China has about 190,000. Germany has 0,000.
We do not have any of the Bitcoins yet
It's
in our
called the
reserves.
Bitcoins.
So they are
Why would
going
they
to.
do that to us, idiots? Well, you know what I read about it? It was that they had confiscated it from an illegal sort of video streaming torrent site, and based on their laws, they had to liquidate it, but I don't know why. And they waited years because they had confiscated it like in years and years ago, and now it's worth a lot. And so now, we must sell it at this moment right now. Why? Because we must. Okay, whatever. Drop the market price by almost 16%.
No regret there. Well, right after Trump spoke, and she should have come on stage with him. Right after Trump spoke, Senator Lummis of Tennessee, where's she a senator? Wyoming. She's senator from Wyoming, and she came up and said that she is introducing a bill that's designed to purchase 5% of Bitcoin's total supply over a number of years, calling it the 21st Century Louisiana Purchase, which is, a million Bitcoin basically. And this is the way. This is, look, I'm not a huge fan of the government's involvement, but if you're going to do it and you want to be a country that's leading the way, then this is how you do it. So we'll see.
We had to get to this point. I mean, this was one of the things that's like, eventually Bitcoin is going to be taken seriously enough that we knew that governments would start storing it and putting it into sort of strategic reserves. This to me is just that next step to mass adoption. And that's where we're sitting at right now. Now you have all of these people who have millions and billions of dollars in the stock market and mutual funds and 401ks, and they're starting to think, wow, well, if these big governments and these big banks are getting into crypto, like how do I take advantage of it?
Right.
And that's where it's like, if they don't get educated, they're going to get so screwed, because crypto seriously, it's a jungle, baby.
It is a jungle. And Lummis goes on to say that we need a Republican sweep in November if crypto legislation is going to pass. I am very skeptical that the Democrat Party, should they have power, would do anything that would be good for Bitcoin. Trump said there will not be a central bank digital currency in his administration. You can count on the Democrats doing a CBDC. That's what they do. They're all about
mechanism. Control. Anything that they can do to get more control, that's what they do. That's how they were always been. But what's genius? It's sort of a devious, ingenious thing, is that typically what they do is they maneuver to get all this power, but then they always blame the other party for what they're doing.
Right.
And so everybody looks at them like, why are they doing all this horrible stuff that they're actually doing? It's the most. That's what gets me, is like, wow, how do people not actually see between? It's like the Wizard of Oz, that wizard behind the curtain. They never fully see what's behind that curtain because they're so dazed with bullshit.
I think more people are. When you look on social media, you see more people saying, "That's it. I'm not voting for this woman. She doesn't know what she's doing. She's never done anything. Her record is nothing." Kamala Harris's record is literally nothing. She's let 11 million illegal aliens here. She's been to the border one time, as borders are, and she has no idea what she's talking about. Her sound clips are just hilarious.
I don't want to be beholden to, what is it? To be beholden to that, what is, or something. She said this one bullshit statement.
Yeah, I can't remember what it is.
I don't even know, but I will say this, is that regardless of her stance, and I don't want to get too political in this.
Go ahead, do it. Get political.
Is that all I know is, of her 67 employees that have been part of her organization, the White House, only 4 remain because they hate her.
Do you know she's not?
because she's a DEI hire, and
Yeah.
typically those DEI hires, they lash out because they're not qualified to handle shit, and so they make it seem like it's somebody else's fault all the time, and so that's what's happened. And
That
so
is racist and sexist of you to say that.
that's just statistics.
Travis.
That's just statistics. 67 people there were there. 63 of those are no longer there, and they've had to say that she was super difficult to work for because she lashes out at everybody.
I'd like to say you have something against black women, but turns out she's not even a black woman. She's Indian.
She's Indian and Jamaican.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. But more people are waking up, and if this offends you, hey, I say, you got your,
they're not even listening. All the people who get offended at this show, they stopped listening back in 2020.
That's fine. Some of them are going to come back because they're going to be, you conspiracy realists were right about all this. And you could really see it like over the past few days. Google, if you went to Google and typed President Donald Trump, like it would serve you up pro Harris.
Well, even if you type in, you guys in President Donald, it'll be like President Ronald Reagan.
Right.
Or if you type in, you can still do this. If you go on google.com, the main page where it just has that search window, and you just type in assassination attempt on president, still no Trump, no Trump. You see Truman, TU. I saw this yesterday, assassination attempt. Well, now actually it pops up now. It pops up. People were calling shit on it, and so now it finally shows up.
They fixed it because there was so much BS, and Facebook was censoring people for posting about the assassination attempt.
Yeah. Did you hear Zuckerberg though? He goes, that picture of Trump getting shot and then standing up and then that was the most badass thing I've ever seen. He's